The falcons are unique because they are top predators, and therefore they're selected also as focal ecosystem components in the CBMP. They integrate much of what happens at the food chain below. So they are responding to changes in their prey, which is again responding to changes in vegetation and weather and so on. So in that way, we can connect and assess changes in the ecosystem. So we need to have the top predators included in the monitoring system. Since they are top predators, they also accumulate substances, chemical compounds. Even though we have seen also that the classical old pesticide compounds are decreasing and the effects are certainly clearly visible in the populations, there are also new compounds that are increasing, which is the brominated flame retardants, all the stuff we use in clothing and electronics to avoid it setting on fire or igniting. So we're seeing that in increasing amounts. Not yet at a level where we suspect direct damages, but we don't know where those limits are. So I think the falcons themselves may not be affected, but it's important that we are monitoring in different parts of the ecosystem how these compounds are increasing or decreasing. So we actually use the falcons as the measuring thermometer on the environmental contaminants. So the crash of the peregrine was the eye-opener that made the world realize that DDT is poisonous to something else than the mosquitoes and others we wanted to get rid of. Likewise, they can still serve as monitoring agents for the environment. So we can help regulate the compounds that are also dangerous, maybe to man. The survey we've done here, or the overview in the CBMP, we know there are more, but we have now in the Arctic falcon specialist groups identified 24 different monitoring sites for falcons in the Arctic. Many of them are both species, gyrfalcon and peregrine falcon, and some of them are only gyrfalcon or peregrine. They are very diverse. Some of them have been running for 66 years, others for 4 or 5. So of course there's a lot of differences. But they're all using some of the basic techniques. They are all collecting productivity and occupancy information. So we can compare those trends over time. Some of the challenges we see is, of course, that very long-term programs, they may change objectives over time if it hasn't been very well defined from the beginning. There are some changes that we need to adjust for that are not just because of changes in the ecosystem. It's also sometimes difficult to directly compare different sites because they have, after all, applied some slightly different methods. So again, we need to get better at, this is what we learned now, at harmonizing. Some standard protocols need to be adjusted a little bit so that we all adhere to some same standards, and that will ease comparisons in the future. It's not impossible now, but we can certainly improve on the ability to compare by harmonizing our methods a bit better.